Hello, this is the RPG Crawler, and welcome once again to an RPG News Roundup, this time for December 21st, 2024, where each week I take a look back at the week in tabletop, computer, and console role-playing game news and bring you the highlights. I'm afraid I'm going to have to do away with the usual thumbnails again this week because, well, I'm pressed for time. I've had a rough week, looking better, but it's also coming up to the holiday season, so I want to get this out so you can see it. My apologies. I need to get my act together, but it's just been really busy. Fortunately, it is a relatively light news week this week. We'll start with computer and console role-playing game news. It looks like Sword of the Necromancer Resurrection is going to hit on January 23rd of this coming year. It'll be a 3D remake of the Sword of the Necromancer RPG from a couple years back, and will target the PC, PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Xbox Series X/S, and the Nintendo Switch. My verbs are unusually active today. Songs of the Rat looks like it will be a minimalist RPG coming out on March 24th of next year. Sorry about that. It will be a text-based adventure RPG targeting the PC, set in an ever-changing labyrinth. The Legend of Heroes Trails in the Sky first chapter will be a remake of the original Legend of Heroes Trails in the Sky and will hit sometime in the fall of next year, 2025. It will target the PC, PS5, as well as the Switch. It also seems that Ys 10 Nordics will be getting an enhanced version called Ys 10 Proud Nordics. I'm sure that'll go over well. It'll include new story material, a new location, and other new features. And sadly, I will have to wrap this up with the fact that the founder of Nihon Falcon, Masayuki Kato, has passed away. He was 78. He had served as the studio's president from its founding back in 1981, all the way up until 2007. So the man had a good run. Vagras, The Riven Realms, will be getting a new DLC. At the Heart of Ruin will release sometime in the first half of 2025 and will deal with a new region isolated from the rest of the realms. Off is coming to Steam and Switch in 2025. It is a retro-style RPG originally developed with RPG Maker well over a decade ago and is known because of the whole, that batter character as well as a number of other things. I've heard decent things about it. I haven't actually played it myself, so there we go. Bandai Namco has plans for a new action RPG called Blood of Dawnwalker. It looks like it will have old developers from the Witcher series involved. It will also seem to be somehow a vampire-themed thing, although the details aren't exactly complete out there. We'll have to see as more information comes out. Then another entry into the Hit or Miss Dynasty series has been announced with a Viking Dynasty. It is always a good idea on these to wait to see exactly how the development on these goes, since the publisher has basically been apparently pulling a number of different developers for each one in the series, so the results are just all over the place. The Legend of Sword and Fairy is number 4 is apparently going to get a remake using the Unreal 5 engine. It was originally available in 2007 only in Chinese, so it looks like this will be an international thing. As far as actual releases go, Glorious Companions left early access. It is a turn-based tactical RPG in a dark fantasy world where you lead a mercenary company. Then Flint Treasure of Oblivion was released. It is a tactical RPG in a pirate-based setting. Wiz Light, Everybody Loves RPGs, has entered early access. It is a licensed wizardry title, originally inspired by the old-school dungeon crawling series, but using roguelike elements and with a somewhat more casual feel, although apparently, even though it looks casual, it is supposedly really challenging, as most wizardry games are. Penny Blood Hellbound was released. It looks like a prequel to Penny Blood's spiritual successor to the Shadowheart series. It has been in early access, or it has been available in early access since earlier this year, so just totally released. Fountains is a sort of Souls-like Metroidvania action RPG with a world designed as one giant interconnected dungeon, basically looking to go back to the all linked together type of world that the old school Souls games had. Alexander is a tactical action RPG with a very basic look. I'm only mentioning it here because even though it's basic, it looks alright. Grim Lord is a dark fantasy action Souls-like for VR headsets, which is interesting. I feel sick just thinking about it. I would get so dizzy. Anyway, Meaningless Echoes is an adventure RPG 3D fighter where you gather resources, complete missions, and explore the world. Onyx is a sort of farming sim, life sim style creature collector where you get your own piece of land or you try to develop and explore the local area. On Your Tail is a cozy life sim detective adventure with anthropomorphic characters. Not sure how much of an RPG it is, but you play a writer in a vacation town that has been plagued by a strange thief. Ran Dungeon is a turn based tactical dungeon crawler with a card game style presentation. One Bit Explorer is a lo fi action puzzle RPG focused on exploration. Finally, there is Tetra Dungeon, a strategy roguelike where you face off against creatures on a grid with cards. Not sure how much of an RPG it is, but it looks like it does have RPG elements. With all these real light RPG things out, it just makes me want to. I wish I had time to make one, because I feel like I could put one together comparable to some of these really light, cute ones at some point. Anyway, moving onward, bridging the gap between computer and tabletop gaming news, it looks like Cyberpunk 2077 can now contain the basic rules of Cyberpunk Red as bonus content. The most recent patch added the Cyberpunk Red basic rules in the bonus content folder for those of you who own it. So it's been interesting. If you've been interested in playing the tabletop version and been wondering where the rules come from, there's that. Then D&D 2024 version of the Artificer is up for Unearthed Arcana playtest over on Wizard of the Coast site. I'm not going to link it because, as usual, YouTube gives me all kinds of problems with links and comments anyway. So if you want to check that one out, give them some feedback, more power to you. Also, I'm just not interested in 2024. I mean, if you are, great, but good. And onwards towards minor PDF releases, Entities is available for Pathfinder and is apparently a collection of 14 mysterious entities meant to boost the player characters with everything from bardic muses, witch patrons, and so on. The Drafty Flagons Yule Caper is a level 9 5th edition one-shot with a holiday theme. Then there's Krampus Claus is coming to town. This one's a 5th edition compatible rulebook that contains some holiday-themed subclasses, various Christmas-themed spells, magic items, a small adventure, and so on. Frog God Games has Forest of Spores, an adventure dealing with a village on the edge of a forest that has suddenly become filled with spores. It is available in 5th edition, Castles and Crusades, and OSR formats. Grim Press has a set of entries into their 5th edition series of dungeon crawls in the Cavern Crawl series. There is number 63, Glacial Path, number 64, Frosted Grove, and number 65, Peak of Titans. Eric Blaney has a series of adventures for 5th edition. There is Eldfjall's Fury, The Wreck of the Shadow Tide, Wings of Dread, and Chains of Fiends, which is a follow-up to Wings of Dread. Then the Ironwick Mysteries are now available in a bundle. They are a collection of 5th edition compatible steampunk-themed adventures based on material from adventures in Sherlock Holmes. Each one's based on a story from one of the Sherlock Holmes series. Side Quest, One Shots of the City, is a collection of side quest material and short adventures, as well as NPCs, adventure hooks, etc., set in urban areas. Dark Eagle Games has Contest for the Crown, a 5th edition compatible adventure, as well as Thermes Reach, which is a sandbox for 5th edition that is a companion to it. Silent on the Watchtower is a 5th edition compatible adventure dealing with various swamps along a frontier, a fey-infested forest, and an empty stone tower. Adventure in Maxer, Sickness in the Swamp, is a 5th edition adventure dealing with a swamp that holds a cure for a rare illness plaguing a village. Dungeons of Despair is a 5th edition adventure module, being the second part of the Heart of Darkness campaign. Elven Tower has a couple of offerings, a couple of adventures compatible with 5th edition, as well as Shadowdark. There's The Forgotten Saint and The Pharaoh's Vault. The Traveler's Guide to the Toxic Seas is a setting guideline, as well as material for 5th edition, including various cultures, histories, monsters, subclasses, character origins, and other options. Introduction to the Outer Plane of Dzehen is Dzehen here is another setting. Yeah, I don't know how to pronounce that. Offering from Terra RPG. I guess just look for the Outer Planes in the links below. This one focuses on a distant and alien realm of chaos and corruption. Planar Exploration and Rescue Society is a 5th edition supplement that details various realms, tools and artifacts, creatures, and so forth. Nautica Obscura is a 5th edition compatible expansion to the Silk Road Guide to Seafaring, which itself is a nautical campaign setting set in the 1st century during the height of the Roman Empire and the Han Dynasty in China. Starseeker's Guide to Drakenstar is a 5th edition compatible science fantasy campaign setting which contains new species, subclasses, backgrounds, monsters, weapons, and magitech rules for starship operation and more. Pocket Bestiary 1 is a guide to capturing, training, and battling over 150 unique creatures for 5th edition similar systems. Honestly, it just looks like Pokemon with the serial numbers filed off and not even very well. Once more, the Quicksilver Adventuring League has a number of subclasses out for 5th edition for 2024. However, I am going to cover the compilations rather than every single one individually because they are collecting them into compilations. They are also available separately. There is the Wizard subclass compilation, a Paladin subclass compilation, as well as a Rogue subclass compilation. 22 Paladin spells for 5th edition is exactly what it says on the tin, a collection of 22 Paladin-based spells as well as associated material for 5th edition. Then there's 27 new spell compendiums, 27 new spells compendium for 5th edition with illustrations, which has 27 new spells for 5th edition, and I gotta assume they're illustrated. There are, however, also 3 brand new arcane traditions in there, the Chronomancer, Geomancer, and Spirit Shaman. A Tome of Consumables is a 5th edition collection of 50 or 70 unique consumables and other similar material for 5th edition, along with a shop for an alchemy shop. A map for an alchemy shop. Jeez. Fractured Minds is a collection of mental instabilities and insanities for 5th edition that can inflict various characters. Hidden Martial Techniques and Stances, a martial themed collection of techniques, styles, as well as magic items for martially based characters in 5th edition inspired by Elden Ring and Demon Slayer. Then Killian's Crawls has a couple of classes for Dungeon Crawl Classics RPG. There is the Investigator as well as the Dispeller. Detour in the Deeps is a Shadow Dark compatible one-shot adventure, but it can be adapted to any other OSR systems. It involves basically escorting a caravan through the underground. Then there is Inside the Ever-Flowing Curtain, a Shadow Dark compatible adventure that can also be adapted to other systems. Runes, number 5, is a zine for Shadow Dark that includes a few different articles, including tables and charts, new monsters and spells, a full adventure, and so on. Populated Hexes Monthly, issue 40, is another OSR-compatible zine, this one finishing up with the City of Shadows and then talking about the Shadowlands. Then there's Advanced Adventures, number 46, The Dismal Glade of the Spider Goddess, an Osric-compatible module, so kind of first edition compatible thing. Adventure Module E1, War for the Stars, an OSR-styled adventure with Lovecraft and fantasy, for Lovecraftian fantasy, meant to complement the Swords of Cthulhu rules supplement, available separately. The Matter Hag, issue 3, is the issue 3 of an OSR zine, with a new Bard class, information on various sages and libraries, magical instruments, more treasure types, information on dungeon stocking, and so on. Adventure Conqueror King System Imperial Imprint, or essentially Acts 2, is now available in PDF format. It is a new edition of the Acts system, this time coming out in 3 books, a revised rulebook, a judge's journal, and a monstrous manual. It's one of those systems that I've spent a lot on and yet rarely had the opportunity to actually run. The original version. I really like the original version. I'm going to have to pick this one up when it comes out in print. Dark Yuletide is a holiday-themed one-shot for OSR systems, including various new chilling creatures, new magic weapons, and other material. Alpine Alarum is a Germanic holiday bestiary for OSR systems with full stats for a few different creatures, including Frau Prekta. Then there is Frau Prekta, a festive monsters with maps and counters for Dragonbane system, completely separately, but at least they're not themed solely around Krampus. Court Dallas Publishing has Primordial Chaos, a book of GMing advice, random tables, and more, as well as a brand new Chalt adventure for Gonzo-style worlds. And quite frankly, if you have any interest in the Chalt setting or anything from Wenger Santanis and Cortalis Publishing, I would recommend you take some time to pick them up relatively soon if you're going to get them from Drive-Thru RPG. It looks like they pretty much got it in for Wenger. He's sitting on borrowed time there, so we shall see. Internal Records of the Crusaders. The Crusades is a small rules-like RPG about a sort of monster-based crusade setting. Brave looks to be a quick and fast RPG about heroes that are less than competent jumping into adventure. Noche, the Great Library, looks to be an offering for Rune Quest detailing the Temple of Knowledge in Glorantha. Then Philip Reed Games has The Whispering Vault, a horror-based standalone RPG complete in one book, although there's also a companion volume of Dangerous Prey that expands it, called Dangerous Prey for the Whispering Vault, that has various new shadows and other creatures. I'm not sure about the theme on this one. It's an entirely new setting, so that's interesting. Cthulhu Ireland details 1920s horror role-playing for Call of Cthulhu in Ireland. I would be surprised if it didn't. The Beast That Crawls is a scenario for Call of Cthulhu with pre-generated characters, original art maps, and handouts that's suited for 2 sessions. Candela Obscura, the Bell Tower Chorus, is a case for Candela Obscura set on the coldest night of winter during a citywide tradition of checking on neighbors and sharing warmth. Mystery Flesh Pit National Park, the RPG, is an RPG based on the fictional alternate history internet story, where you got a national park that's like the ground is alive and it's actually a creature. Anyway. Warhammer 40,000 roleplay Imperium Maledictum Inquisition GM Guide is exactly what it says. Details various inquisitorial philosophies, offering advice for running Inquisition investigations, with 6 sample Inquisitor patrons, a campaign, and so on. The Sin Eater is a solo crawl where you play the captain of a battered starship after the Sin Eater has been awakened and is now basically destroying the universe. You look to traverse hostile sectors, find vital information, and use it to seed a parallel universe before the current one is destroyed. And finally, there is the Box of Delight, a rules-light RPG inspired by a Christmas classic story. And on that note, let's move on to crowdfunding campaigns. Remember that contributing to a crowdfunding campaign should be done only at your own risk. Doing so is no guarantee of even receiving a product mentioned here is not an endorsement, but is for informational purposes only. And although only a few things caught my eye this week, a few of them were computer and console campaigns, starting with Vortex, which will be a sports and combat RPG that looks to mix things like FIFA with things like Dragon Ball Z and Naruto and so forth. Okay, sure, I can see that happening. Then Monochrome Echoes is looking to fund an English translation. It'll be a dungeon exploration RPG with hack and slash focus, inspired by, or rather rearranging and enhancing the systems of Quester RPG, which is already available. Divinity and Descent looks to be a pixel art or adventure RPG inspired loosely by Dante's Inferno. Moving on to tabletop crowdfunding, Rise of the Fire Elves will be a Penny Blood Adventures 5th edition offering dealing with the rebellion in the Fiery Realm. Gronch's Great Giftmas Heist looks to be a festive one-shot for 5th edition, where the idea is to save a holiday called Giftmas. Santa's Bag of Holding will be a 5th edition collection of 100 plus new magic items, theoretically with a holiday theme. And all these Christmas-themed crowdfunding campaigns, and they're obviously not going to finish until sometime in January. I need to think about that, because I see a lot of this happen. Every holiday season, you get a bunch of people using the holiday to hype up their projects, but then they come out well after the holiday, and I'm wondering how the sales do versus the actual Kickstarter, because it's a good marketing ploy to get the thing funded, but then to get it on shelves, I don't know. Does that impact the sales? If you developed RPG holiday-themed things, let me know. Anyway, moving onward. Depths of Obscurum will be a dark fantasy tabletop-style RPG for either solo or co-op play, where you play off against ancient horrors. It looks like it's the sequel to something called Crypts of Obscurum, which I believe I may have covered before. Finally, there is We Dig Giant Robots, which looks to be a mecha one-shot style micro-RPG about giant robots. And on that note, I'm going to wrap things up here. As always, links will be below. If you like what you've seen, remember to leave a like, comment, got any feedback, and subscribe for more RPG content. Last week's been busy, but things turned out so well for those who were wondering. My mother came through her first procedure pretty decent, just helping her with recovery right now. She's got another one lined up next month. Get that heart working in good order again, and just, I guess, I'll have to keep an eye on her. So I've been real worried about that. That's why I haven't got a lot of stuff done now. And I know I'm all apologies lately, and I didn't want to put too much information out there why. But yeah, I've been dealing with that, and hopefully things are coming to let me actually get some stuff done. I've got a whole stack of reviews. I got 2 of them already written and ready to go. I've got to record some more Let's Play stuff. I want to put some more stuff together on designing adventures, and I just need the time. Anyway, have a Merry Christmas for everybody who it applies to. Happy holidays for whatever you celebrate. Be safe. Have a good time, and until next time, take care and goodbye.
And if you are still watching, I would like to take the opportunity to thank my supporters, the top tiers of which are listed on the screen, without whose support I would not have been able to offer the variety of content that I have on this channel throughout the years. If you're feeling particularly generous and would like to join them, you can support the channel. There are a variety of options to do so. I have a Patreon, a Subscribestar, as well as channel memberships enabled. If you are not in a position to contribute, simply leaving a like, a comment, or sharing my videos are all wonderful ways to help the channel grow without spending a dime, and are all greatly appreciated.